All right. Few seconds. And switch. Okay. So I was given the shot by a viewer, and I'm kind of excited for it. It's fun. It's a really fun type of shot. I like tracking, like, kind of staff kind of objects because I have a weird little trick to do it. It's super easy. But this shot also has a couple challenges. I'm going to be tracking for a little bit, so the first half of this is going to be rather boring. But we don't need a lot of points. I actually should have asked if there was any CG for the environment at all, or if this was only meant for the pickaxe. Because as far as I know, the only CG is this pickaxe here. So we don't have to worry too much about the insane detail of the camera. Pickaxe only. Nice. Hello, Matos. All right. Let's see. Where do I get started? I'm going to start laying down some points. Also, the music's a little irritating. Turn that down slightly. So I did enter in a film back. I got the camera information, Sony FX3, and I punched that in with a focal length of 24 mil. Milolab, elbow cough. I see it gives me like the name of the emoji that you're using, Milo. And yeah, I wish I could see what it was. Okay, so let's start with some easy points. I'm going to start with this light. I got a cough. Okay, that was a rather violent cough. All right, so easy points first. Gonna knock out this light here. When you're tracking, you always want to make sure you get foreground, midground, and background, because you need all the parallax that you can get. Parallax, you know, when the camera moves around and you see your foreground and everything kind of have that separation. Software need that to actually calculate. This shot does not offer a whole lot of parallax, but we are going to make a little box for the room, and we're going to project our points and tell them where they need to be. We're also going to have to do some manual camera stuff. Can I move my mic up? Is it going to stay there? I bought the cheapest stand in the world, and it's garbage. Okay, so shrink that down. Walnut, Milolab predicted the future with elbow cough. Oh, wow. He did, didn't he? I kind of played into that one. That's like when you have fortune tellers who just kind of made their own internal algorithm and kind of, you know, predict those false futures. Man, I really don't like fortune tellers. I hate them so much. I don't think I'm actually tracking the light here. I'm tracking smoke, which isn't too bad. I'm probably going to offset this point later. The most important thing is that it's stable. Again, this is only for the pickaxe. So our camera, if there's a little bit of slide, it's not going to matter. So that's 1 point out of the way. Let's take out this thing in the back. Yeah, Milolab's proud. So oh my god, I can't speak. The background is a little bit dark, so I'm gonna hit P for image prep, and over here I'm gonna go to levels. You have your adjustment curve here. I wish we had an actual curve, but you know, we got these nifty little spinners. So high. Wait, why is this adjusted? Did I adjust this earlier? Oh yes, I did. I wanted it to look fancy. So I'm gonna turn up the mid a little bit. Just kind of give things a little bit of a washed out appearance. Darken it up a bit. And I'm going to come over to filtering, type in 1 on the noise. And I'm also going to give it a, I don't know, 3 pixels of blur. No, you know what? Let's go 5. Perfect. Lovely. So now we can track this background with relative ease. So it should be pretty quick. I don't care if the tracker is going to be pushed around a little bit with noise. Once again, the camera environment is not the main focus here. Wait, did I track that or this? What did I track? Oh, I tracked the top piece. Okay. I am going to extend this point behind his arm as well. Man, part of the reason I'm actually excited to do the shot was because, like, it's a Fortnite pickaxe being added in here. And as it's been said a few times, I'm a huge fan of Fortnite. I'm just excited to put in, to help with a, teach how to track a pickaxe in there. Okay, now we have this, and I will extend that, but I'm going to extend it later. I'm going to extend that later because I'm hoping I'm going to have something that's going to help me out. And y'all will see what that means later. Matto, haha, let's go. Glad you like it. Okay, now was actually plotting a game plan with the people that I play with. Was actually plotting a game plan today with the Venom Mythic and the radar gun, just because I saw some other streamer do something with it. And I cannot wait to jump in tonight. Oh, I gotta extend the tracker there. You know, I'm gonna go here where the tracker's more visible. I'm gonna place the tracker. Matto, in your older version of Synthesize, you will not have this, so you'll have to manually place your tracker per frame. But if you have newer version, you can come here on your last keyframe, hit H, and it'll turn on by hand mode, which means your tracker is gonna spline in between. So see how it filled in the gaps? But I'm gonna go and help those little gap fill-ins a little bit and nudge my tracker to better fit here. Ah. So now that I have that, I am very happy. Also, if you want to know exactly what I'm doing to track Matto, on the YouTube channel, I could send you the link if you really want, but yeah, if you need help with the point tracking, exactly every button and hotkey that I'm doing, it's all in my 2D tracking video for beginners. Except for that by hand feature. I was kind of saving that for an advanced tracking video, which I'm trying to plan out right now. Oh, we're almost done with this one. We're probably only going to track like maybe 8 points if I can get 8 points in the shot. Oh, you know what I can do? I can track these light cones too. The smoke is almost stable enough that I can treat the light as a trackable object. The smoke is floating up a little bit, but I can fake counter that. Ooh, that's gonna be fun. Walnut. Oh, just oh, nice. Walnut posted it. Walnut's too helpful. A little bit too helpful. Get out of here. I'm supposed to be the teacher. A little rude of me. Sorry I offended you with my kindness, Calvin. Okay, 1, 2, 3. We're on good track. I thought I was going to be taking a longer time to track this, honestly. This point here, something I want to try. So this is a little... Oh, crap, I didn't make this point track the other way. This is a... I'm going to show a technique that I've barely showed anybody. And I think it might blow people away. I don't know if anybody has done this. It's kind of a far reach of a technique. Okay, Walnut, bye. Walnut's out. You gotta commit to the joke, Walnut. You gotta leave long enough for Restream to tell me that the viewer count is dropped. Okay, so here is the kind of weird far out trick that, as far as I know, people don't do. This tracker. What if I could just unlock it, hit H right now, and assume that this spline path will work by itself? So I'm gonna undo that. Here, oh, enable branching. No. Oh, sure, why not? Okay. Enable branching is a new Synthesize thing. You can have different levels of undos and different paths that you can actually undo and choose which path, you know? Yeah, you know. If you know, you know. Now, so here's the weird thing. I'm going to go P image prep. I'm going to go to stabilize. And now if I still, oh crap. Oh, I could select here. I'm going to select these trackers, the two that are actually active throughout the shot. And we're going to stabilize, let's try peg, actually. Rotation peg. Okay, cool. So I'm going to hit OK. So now, oh, I forgot to do something. I have to undo that. So hit P, going to go stabilize. And with those two trackers selected, I'm going to change this to peg, change this to peg. And now the trackers actually need to snap to where they're supposed to be. So to do this, we're going to come over to output and see under output, we have padding, distortion, stabilize. If you apply this stuff and you want to update the trackers to match along with your stabilized plate, you can check off stabilize and hit apply to trackers. Now we have this. So I'm going to hit OK. Wait for this to cache. Walnut, whoa, you can stabilize just with 2D points? Yeah, you can. So now we have this. So what's nice about this stabilize is you can take this tracker, and I do this for very complex shots, but this shot, it's not too complex. It's better with more trackers because I have noise in these two trackers. So this might not be as perfect, but we don't need it to be perfect. So I'm gonna hit H now, and look what this tracker does. See that? It's splined kind of nicely here with minimal work. So I'm gonna go back and place some keys here. You have to key these. If you have a by hand portion of your track, you have to blanket it with keys because we're gonna now invert these trackers back to the original motion. So now that I've baked the by hand portion of this tracker, again, very important, I'm gonna lock it, hit P, and now with the stabilize still on here, I'm gonna go to output. We have stabilize still checked off. We are going to remove the stabilization from the trackers. So now the trackers are back to where they should be, but the plate, we want to return to plate now. So come over to stabilize and turn off peg. Okay. And now let's watch this beauty. Come on, cache. I'm excited. I always love the result of this. Look at this. Look at how cool that is. I think that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that. That's something I'm gonna try. See, stuff like that is what I want to save for an advanced tracking tutorial. I have so many weird little tricks like this. Okay, still thirsty. Matto. All right, that's insane. I love that feature so much. As far as I know, you can't really do that easily in other software. Okay. Let's track this thing in the background, this big gradient thing. Mila Lab, I'm not sure I understand what happened here. Yeah, it's a little bit of a tough one to grasp. Everyone who I've taught that to has never repeated it, so I gotta make a proper video talking about all that stuff. What changed? Oh, let me track this point real quick and then I'll show what I did, because I think I'll have to do the trick one more time in this shot. And come on, make your tracker last as long as you can. If you have to, you can sometimes extend it off frame if you're comfortable with it. I don't need to do it here, I'm just showing it. There's a reason people might extend a tracker off frame, but it's hard to explain until you've gone into shots and have gotten errors that you can't explain. Almost done. Yeah, we're making some decent time. We're not going to be spending a whole lot of time on this shot, actually. I thought it was going to take a little bit just because of the tracking side, but this is making some decent headway. Okay, so at that point, the reason I figured I'd have to do it again is because I would like another tracker to help stabilize this background, because I don't really want to let two fly because my trackers are jittery. I'm letting them track quickly. So I want more trackers to average out the error in the background, because one tracker, that's a lot of jitter. 2 tracker, you have a rotational jitter. But 3, it's going to start averaging out the jitter in the rotation and the translation. So if you have a minimum 3, you're going to start to clean up your motion a whole lot more. So I wanted at least one more. So this tracker, I'm going to do that stabilize trick again here. Walnut, I think I understand it, and I'm pretty sure I will never be motivated enough to do it myself. It's actually really easy. If you haven't used it, stabilization and synthize is fantastic. I personally take my stabilization. I do the stabilization that synthize does, but I take its methods and do it in Nuke. Well, for now, soon I'll be doing it in Fusion. It'll be the same thing. But yeah, synthize has a very powerful method of stabilization, which will give you a better result than most other stabilizers on the market. Okay, so Milo Lab, are you still here? Because I'm going to do that stabilize thing one more time now. But if you were confused by it, I do want to know if you're going to be here to see it. Let's track this point up top. For now. I'll my music up a little bit louder. Milo's here. Nice. Okay, let me just do that trick right now. Okay, so one more time. So the goal, this tracker here, I want it to fill in this gap where his arm covers. So if I go here, and if I hit H by hand, ideally a tracker will spline itself behind, but you see what happens here? It drifts. So because it's drifting, you would have to still, you would have to still drag your tracker and guess where it is. And you could do a fairly decent job at this, but a lot of the time you don't do the best job of it, because the point of this is that you're trying to not guess where it is. But if you make use of the other trackers in your scene, you can stabilize the shot and let Synthize's spline curve give it a much more accurate result. So, oh man, I just drank too much water. Okay, so I'm gonna hit P and go to stabilize. So with stabilize, I'm gonna select my points, the points that last through the whole shot, and then I'm gonna come to translation and rotation, change one to peg, so we've locked the translation now, and now we're gonna hit peg for rotation and lock it down. Now that we've gotten both of those pegged, man, I'm so glad my boss isn't here with me talking about pegging. It would get mildly inappropriate. Actually, not mildly, it'd get wildly. Okay, so levels. No, what am I doing in levels? So we've stabilized the plate. If I scrub, you could see that we've locked it down. Actually, it looks a little bit funny in this viewport. It looks like this. I'm going to show you what it looks like for now. So it looks like this. We've stabilized the plate. We've pegged it in that one position with those trackers. But now the trackers don't follow. So I'm going to hit P, come over to adjust, and let's go to output. Why did I say adjust? Go to output with stabilization checked on, because right now there is a stabilization applied. We are going to apply it to the trackers. So apply. Now our trackers are stuck to the stabilized plate. So I'm going to hit OK and let this cache. There we go. So now what we have is these points here. Now that the plate is stabilized, I can spline the in-between. So I'll unlock, hit H, and it'll spline and fill in the gaps in between. See that? It's a much more cleaner path than it was if we let the plate stabilize. Or if we let the plate animate around, the spline path is like point A to B, right? So we stabilize the plate so that that point A to B can actually go in a straight line. So now with that by hand point, I'm just gonna fill in. This area here is all by hand mode. We have to key this and bake the animation, because if we reapply the camera motion, this spline path is not gonna keep this kind of motion. So I'm gonna hit I'm just gonna go 0 and spam it on each frame, lock it, and now now that it's locked here, same result. I can hit P. With stabilize over here, I'm gonna go remove from the trackers. Now the trackers have snapped back to where the original plate will be. I can go to stabilize and turn off peg. And now we will witness this magic one more time when the cache fulfills its duty. Mato, I completely understand it now and it's really smart. Can you do this in any other software? Never seen anything like that before. I don't know, because most other tracking software, I know you can stabilize, but I don't know what their process is for applying the stabilize to their trackers. I don't know that far into it. Melalab. Oh, okay, I got it. Plus, 1+ with walnut. I'd like to see this in Fusion. Oh, the stabilize, like how I stabilize a plate in Nuke with Synthize. Yeah, I could show that. I could show that sometime. I'll have to mess with it in Fusion just to make sure I can. I can navigate Fusion pretty good now. I had to do a VFX project here recently. I can navigate it pretty well and actually problem solving it decently. I'll just have to take a camera and try my stabilization. Really, all it is, spoiler, is you take your camera, your solve in Synthize, have it project the plate onto a sphere, specifically a sphere, and then duplicate your camera. So that duplicate camera, you can smooth that's the camera that's going to view the plate. You can smooth its rotation curves. And that new camera is going to have a much better, it's going to have a much better stabilize, a physically world accurate stabilize compared to 2D stabilize options in most software. There's a lot more benefits too, but it's hard to explain. Sometimes we've been approached to do a more technical stabilization by some clients in the past. Okay, so now that I have this, oh, let me read that message. Walnut, yeah, that. Walnut, I'm so happy with Fusion now. I'm finally getting into some pretty big node trees now without getting confused. Feels great. Same. I'm getting into that area too. Okay, let's see. Where am I? I would like one more point in the foreground, and then I might start on the staff. Meal I did that, but without using a sphere. Yeah, use a sphere if you can, because if you use any other flat, like a plane or anything, once that camera turns, there's a delta rotation thing or whatever, and you're gonna lose some perspective. Oh, actually, not really. If you're projecting it onto an object, it doesn't matter what the object is shaped like. I shouldn't have said that. Ignore that. A sphere is just kind of nice visually. Okay, what is my next foreground point? It might be some smoke. Yeah, I think I'm gonna fake a very hardcore point here right now. Okay, we're doing the stabilized trick one more time. Yeah, we're doing it one more time. So I'm gonna hit P, and I'm gonna select 4 of these points that last now, and we're gonna do an extra step as well here. So I'm gonna go stabilize, peg, peg, and that's working, right? My plate hasn't moved. Oh, yeah, we're good. Okay, so we're gonna track like a light fixture over here. I had to stabilize because we're gonna use by hand, but we need all the help we can get because that motion is a little bit tricky. So now, if you need extra space, you can come to adjust, delta zoom your plate out. Has to be adjust delta options, not any of the other movement stuff. And now I can go to output, stabilize, apply to trackers. Go. Oh. I'm really enjoying this stream so far. I like this shot. This is a very fun shot. All right, so I'm gonna put a by hand point right here. So I'm gonna go H, and the stabilize helps us here. We're gonna block in these frames. Oh, that's a fake point too, but whatever. Okay, so we're gonna have to use some imagination here. So I'm gonna go Shift plus on my keyboard. Shift plus gives you crosshairs, and these crosshairs are animatable and you can use them for a guide. So I'm gonna extend this up to the light just to reference the light, and I'm going to match that on a couple of frames. That's pretty good as it is. So because I got this line in here, I can use it to reference the position of this tracker right around here. I'm lining up the line. Gotta move it up there. That area is not very great, so I'll put a key there. Walnut. Me too. I'm not good enough in Maya for rotomation, so this is nice. Yeah, rotomation's very irritating. Bring this over. And I'm gonna imagine that it's gonna slide right over here. Whoa. This needs to go up. I'm nudging the tracker up right now. And I'm kind of bullshitting where it's supposed to be right now. Like, again, hardcore. This is lies what I'm doing right now. Okay, I don't need that to be amazing, so I'm gonna stop it here. We have a point now that roughly resembles this, so I'm gonna stop with the weird part. I'm just going to lock on and try to stabilize this area now. I'm not making this to be perfect either. I'm just doing this so that I have a point. So this is the fastest nudging in the world. I'm barely even going back frames to check. I say that as I'm literally going back every frame. That's kind of a habit, but I'm not really looking at it. Okay, now where's the other direction? Cool. Not much to do over here, really. Just to make sure there's no, like, epic pops. Almost done. This might be our close to last point that we're gonna add. Okay, let's see. Play. Okay, so let's return the plate to normal and just see what this tracker looks like. So I'm gonna hit P, go to Output, Stabilize, Remove from Trackers, come to Stabilize, turn off Peg, and, oh, I also did the, oh, I also have to come over to Adjustment and return Delta Zoom to 1. There we go. Okay, give it a watch. Meal Lab. Yeah, I think I got it now. Pretty clever. I love that trick so much. Okay, so that point is going to help us out a lot. Let's highlight it here. Give it a watch. Oh, my camera's in the way. Or my face cam. I need to move my face cam. Nice. Okay, so now that I have that, let's see what happens if we start to head towards a solve. I'm going to make an environment right now. So, environment. Let's reset all the color stuff I did and blurs. So I'm going to contrast this plate up. And I'm also going to keep that noise reduction on it. Oh my god, I love this new mic. It's so nice being able to move my arms everywhere. No cables. Oh, okay. Let's see. Now, camera solve time. Cough time, actually. That was a good cough. Okay, let's see. Now, pick the best frame, this one, and I think I can see some perspective down here. I know this lens is a 24. So I'm gonna go with 24 here. Whoops, 24. I did enter in the film back, 35 mil something. So I'm gonna do some quick lines. I'm gonna come over to the lens tab, and here I can go add line. And I'm not gonna do all three axes. I can't say that. I'm gonna do all three axes. Or sorry, I'm gonna do two. So here's our main Y line. If anybody's confused about this, in whatever software, oh, by the way, this is the pickaxe that's being added. So if you're confused about the lines, whatever software you're working with, whatever your world orientation is, I'm going to be doing this in Maya, but right now I just have Blender open. So your positive X is facing this way, your positive Y is facing this way, and positive Z is pointing up. So maybe we want the stage to be like, here's the stage, here's the back wall over here. So we would match these line directions. There's no biggie in doing it manually, like rotating it by hand. No problem with it at all. Even if you get the orientation and align things to go in the wrong way at first, you can still just rotate it. So because I'm working with Maya, Z is pointing at us, like straight at us, X is pointing right, and Y is pointing up. So I'm gonna go add my X now. So right on X, and I'm only gonna stick with these two lines. Let's see. We don't have a whole lot, so I'm gonna put this parallel X real close. Every line now is a parallel line. I can't see this really, but whatever. I wonder if these are level. Parallel X. Now we'll get some more Y here. There's not too much to go off of now. Oh, there is a Z line up here. Look at that. Very small, but whatever, it's something. Okay, so we have these lines. If I hit F3, just to look at this, if I hit L, oh look. Oh, because we haven't solved, so our orientation looks pretty nice as it is. But we want this to be based off of our lines. It only looks nice because I never solved and the camera is just in this perfect spot to begin with. Walnut. Are plates with more distortion an issue for this trick? Or is it not that much of an issue? Actually, I use that trick mostly on plates that have distortion problems, because those are the plates that typically have very little to track, and it's hard to solve for the distortion. It is more problematic, but those are the plates that I use that trick with to help me out. Okay. I'm gonna hit align and see what this does. I kind of hope it doesn't change the focal. I saw Walnut was experiencing this before, but sometimes, depending on if you're a known or unknown, you can keep or lose your focal. And it's not very consistent with Synthesize's manual when you read about it. I've read it so many times trying to figure this out. So I'm gonna hit align, Yeah, it changed our focal to 32, which I'll be honest, I don't mind. Because this looks pretty good, and we don't need 24 for a pickaxe. But let's undo, and I want to see what fixed unknown does. So it still changed it. See, part of the manual also says if you don't have a solve, which I actually don't, if you don't have a solve, then it would figure out your focal. So, ah man, throat gets so dry. So let's try, put a quick solve in here. So it's bad, but whatever. Actually, it's not that bad of a solve. We did a pretty good job just as it is. So I'm gonna hit align now and just see what it does. This is just me testing. So align, let's see if it, actually we gotta switch this to 24 first. And align. Also, I'm on the wrong frame. 32, fine. Unknown. Yeah, I don't know, it keeps changing to 32. I'm gonna go with this because sometimes the lines give you a better result. But man, there's so much more explanation for this needed, but I'm trying to gun through this. So anyway, now that we have this, or this lineup right here, we're gonna stick with 32 because I like that result. Long story short, Matos, I don't know if you guys used any adapters or anything, but there's a good chance the focal is wrong, but there's also a good chance that my Z line is too short and I just don't have enough lines in the scene because, yeah, it's pretty dark and I can't see much that's going on. So it could just be me, but it is a pretty nice result. 8mm difference seems extreme, right? It is extreme, especially at a wider angle. Longer angles, it's not so extreme, but at the focal length of 24 to 32, that's a pretty extreme difference. If I zoom right now, see 24, look at how much those points moved. Like, that's a very big difference. Could a crane affect it? A gimbal, I mean. Nope, not really. You know what? I'm gonna line it up manually. I want it to be quick, but let's do it manually. It's not that long. So let's go to at frame because I like this frame. We're gonna ignore the lines. I'm probably gonna delete them later. But let's go switch to known. On the first frame, I'm gonna type in 24. If you have to enter in data or lock anything in Synthesize, do it on the first frame. Things in Synthesize animate when you press them. So I have 24 mil. I'm gonna go to F4, 3D, and I'm gonna come to import, make a, oh no, I don't want to import. Why do I want to go to import? I want to go to box. So I'm gonna go make a box, scale it up, and invert the normal so I can see inside the box from the camera view. So I'm gonna hit the pipe key, the slash button under the backspace key. That gives me wireframe. And now let's zero this out so it's centered, and I'm gonna go whole, whoops, right click, 3D, whole effects mesh is off. And now we are just going to line up. I can't tell what the actual floor is. I think it's right here. I see a little corner thing. I could contrast this more, but we are not actually projecting points in the floor, so I don't care where the floor is. So I'm gonna take, oh, I can't connect to the stage. Hey, Matos, do you know the height of this platform to the floor? Like, is there like a foot high? Is this like a 1 foot high platform? Because that would help me out a lot. Walnut, I might suggest a clear all lines feature. I know. I was thinking of that yesterday, actually, because I'm teaching a junior. I was teaching a junior how to use lines, and I had to delete all of his lines. I hate having to delete like 10 lines if I change my mind about what frame I'm aligning with or something. Yeah. Matto, you got the floor right? That's it. Man, I can estimate. I don't know exact height, but I could estimate about 1.3, 1.6 meters. Whoa, that's really high. That's how high that platform is off the floor? That's really high. Wasn't there another image actually? You sent another image. Let me see that. I remember it had a little bit under my, whoa, that's a high platform. Okay. Wow. What am I should grade this up. Let me see this real quick. Whoa, too much. Man, it's hard for me to believe it's that high. That's a big room. Okay, so. Okay, so that helps a lot. I have a perfect image for you. I'll send on to it. Nice, awesome. Wait, Matto, are you saying the camera height? Oh, yes, that's a good point. That's a good point. We're talking about the platform that he is walking on. I want to know the floor of the room and to the platform he's on. Not the camera height. Okay, so I'm gonna actually, while we're talking about this, I am going to, here's what I'm gonna do now. So now that I have an idea of how big that platform is, I'm gonna make a 100, he doesn't seem 170 centimeters. Let's go 160 for now. Doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna take this scale guy here. So we're gonna line up his torso. I just heard my Discord go off. I'll check that in just a moment. Wow, that's surprisingly high. Let's see. Whoa. Yeah, that's, wow, that's that's very high. I actually could have used this to model this set and use it for a survey. Yeah, I should. Yeah, if I had this before, I could have actually did a perspective, made a room, and used this for my measurements. Need some rest. We'll catch up later for the video on YouTube. Awesome, Mila Lab. Thank you for stopping by while you could. Okay. Yeah, I would not have guessed that it's that high just watching the shot. Okay, so this is perfect. This helps out a lot. So now that I've made a dude for him, what I can do with that info now. Matto, I'm sorry, I only remembered I took this picture like a minute ago, like minutes ago. Okay, so here's the next little nifty trick I'm gonna do. Walnut, Calvin, you stole my sentence. Did I? Oh, I did. Oh, I did say exactly what you said. Oops. Okay, so here's the next nifty little trick. I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to go script, mesh, duplicate. And now I'm going to move this guy back. I'm actually going to go push him back. So if you go translate, and instead of moving like left or right, up or down, the fourth option lets you push the pivot of the object back from the camera. So we know the platform is around chest height now. So here is my floor. So now the room that I made, I'm going to scale this. I'm going to lock it so we can, scale from whatever pivot we want now. I'm going to click on the camera. We're scaling the cube from the camera. So there we have our platform scale and we have the room scale. And got your big garage door back here. Okay, so I've actually never done that before. That's kind of I like that. That was kind of a nice guess. Now that we have that, we can take a plane and I could make a floor under his feet, but I'm actually going to make a little card here to represent the smoke layer behind him. So let's slide this to the level of his feet. And now I can push this back. So we've reached the, sorry, my camera's in the way, I know. So we've reached the plane right at the edge of the at the edge of the stage. And let's turn that lock off because that pivot was gonna go weird. So scale this up a bit. And now I can take this point, and we're gonna, oh, let me go. So we have the light. We're gonna project them onto this plane because it's where we think that the points exist on the stage. I have a hotkey, but if you don't, come up to track, drop onto mesh. Now I'm gonna take these background points here. I'm gonna drop these onto mesh as well. There we go, I dropped them, I projected them. Drop onto mesh means this. See, I gave those points position data to lock to. So we have the points in the back wall and the points near the back of the stage here. So with those points, now that those points have data on the mesh, I can come over to solver, constrain, turn on constrain, and then hit go. Oh, okay, it's screwed up, that's fine. I now have to also tell Synthesize to use 2 starting frames that have all of the trackers visible. Also have some nice parallax. So let's use something like this. And then go to the end. Go. Okay. So you can see we have the camera solving here. It's pretty jittery, which is fine. We have him stepping back and forth, which is cool. I'm gonna mute the plate a little bit so we can watch what's happening. Also, let's turn the divisions down in the geo, just clean this up a little bit. Also, I should say this now. Notice I'm not calculating for distortion. I'm not going to calculate distortion because it's going to make VFX for you much easier. Because, you know, you don't have to run through that pipeline. But also, a shot like this does not have enough trackers for me to calculate you an accurate distortion. It's not super needed. So now that we have this, it's very shaky and jittery. So how do we clean that up? We're going to go, let's take a look at the camera curves first. See what it's doing. So Synthesize calculates you, it gives you a raw path with no filtering. I personally love this. Other software likes to smooth your path for you, which to me is, I don't know, I don't like it. I like to do that myself. So how do we smooth this? I'm going to go to solver. I'm going to come to filtering control. Walnut. I like that the latest builds of Synthesize let you darken the plate to see your geo better without recaching. That's amazing. I remember that. Didn't somebody suggest that and it happened? Was it you, Walnut? Somebody I know, I think, suggested that and Russ implemented it. It was you. I can't wait to use that. I can't wait to upgrade. Because once I go to ILM, apparently I'll be allowed to do freelance work. So I kind of want to do a little bit of work on the side, and just so I can buy myself the newest copy of Synthesize. I want the newest builds. Okay, so I'm going to go X, Y, Z in the filtering control. And you could hit apply with the default. And here's the path you get. It's not bad. It's pretty nice. Typically with a handheld shot though, what you want, I just undid the smooth by the way. Typically with a handheld shot, you want to preserve some of that motion, so you would turn your frequency up because you want to smooth the high frequency jitters rather than the low frequency. Because if you do low frequency, if I change this to 1, hit smooth, see how it eroded away all of that path? Oh, the chat's in the way of that. I'll undo and redo. So you see how we lose all of that camera path with the lower frequency? So here's 5. 5 looks okay. We keep our path. If you want to keep some of that handheld motion more, you got to turn your frequency up to like 10 or 12 or something. So when I hit apply, we keep it a little bit more. And you can turn this higher and, you know, try to preserve it a bit more. I am just going to leave it at 5 because I intentionally want to over smooth this a bit. So I'm going to hit reset. And now when you smooth your camera, you have to resolve for the rotations, because when you smooth your camera, the camera moves technically, but the rotations don't update. So when you smooth your camera, we're going to lock that path and then resolve just the rotations to correct any offset. So I'm going to come over to axis locks. I'm going to lock the position path. Always do the stuff on the first frame of your shot because it'll animate if you turn it on halfway through. So I'm going to hit get. We hit get because we're loading. Can anybody hear that siren? There's a siren going off outside. I want to know if this mic is cutting it out. It was cutting it all out perfectly yesterday. So I loaded in the smooth path right here, and we have lock on. So lock knows that the smooth path is what it wants to use. And I'm going to hit go. Much quieter than they used to be. Yeah, but it's really quiet. Nice. I messed with some settings today. I got to mess with them again, but yesterday it was completely gone. So I've locked path. I've smoothed it. I've locked our path. I've imported it. And let's switch over to refine. We're switching to refine because automatic solves from nothing. Refine will build off what you already have. So constrain on, locks on, refine on, hit go. Oh, quick stretch. I might take a 10-minute break. I might take a 10-minute break and then do the staff because I need to move around. So, this is basically the camera solve we'll be going with. It doesn't focus on the environment. If it did focus on the environment, we'd obviously spend a lot more time. We would try to get precise trackers on the corner of the stage. We would probably build it out off of those reference images that we have now. But again, not all shots need to have a perfect camera. This camera is ballparked enough so that any lighting on this pickaxe, you know, will actually obey the laws of physics. And we made the camera smooth because that pickaxe, we don't want it to jitter or do weird stuff in space. If the camera jitters, the pickaxe will jitter along with the camera. So we smooth the camera, and now the pickaxe should be stable. Yes. So, you know what? I'm not feeling like a break just yet. Not yet. I'm not taking a break just yet. Unless people want me to take a break. But we're going to do the object now real quick. So, I'm going to hide the guy. We don't need to see him right now. Actually, we don't need to see any of the geo. So I'm going to hit my own hotkey for hide geo. But you could right click, go to view, show meshes. Okay. So let me track this object real quick. Take a break when you feel like it. Yeah, I'm going to take a break once I solve this. So a lot of people might look at this staff or they'll try to solve it and realize, wait, this is not working like how I expected it to be. It's a stick. It should be easy. They're not super easy. So this is a method that I've kind of made up. I don't know if anybody else does it, but we're going to solve it just as a stick. We're not going to solve its rotation because we're going to tweak its rotation in Maya. Okay, so to add an object, we come up to shot, add moving object. And now all of our other trackers turn blue. We're not touching them anymore. So when we place trackers, we're just tracking the stick. So here, I'm also going to turn off these crosshairs. Shift plus. So Here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to even track the X. I'm actually tracking the center of the stick. No matter how the stick turns, no matter where the markers go, I'm only going to track the center of the stick. And there's a reason for that. Also, I should save this again. There we go. So I'm looking at the, I'm going to keep this tracker level to the markers, but I'm mostly keeping the target box centered on the staff. See how the marker's going away? And I'm giving no attention, giving no mind, giving absolutely zero f***s. Haha, love my bleep. Always forget I have my bleep. I'm gonna shrink this tracker down because again, I want to just keep it to the staff so I can remember to check it for the width. Walnut, I've started saving versions of things ever since I accidentally deleted everything from a Cinema 4D project right before closing it. Oh man, I have lost so many big shots that I was so stupid and didn't save. Matos, is this kind of scaring you off from Synthesize, or is this helping you? What do you think? I'm assuming you're still here. Yes, but it's helping. It's scaring you. Why is this tracker popping away? I think I gotta make my search box bigger. That's weird. I don't know why this wants to jump every single frame. It always wants to jump here, but the feature doesn't even look like this with the X. What if I go out here? It's a bit scary, not gonna lie. Walnut at Matos. I was scared to synthesize for a while, now I love it. Good. Come to the dark side. Whoa, for some reason the tracker's actually tracking it now. Thank you. I only really have to properly track like 4 points. And then we're going to quadruple them using offset. So close. By the way, if the music's annoying, tell me to turn it down if you want. I like it. I like hearing a little louder music, but that's just me. Largely thanks to Calvin, to be honest. Hell yeah. Okay, so we have this point. We're gonna track one more, and then a solve will happen. And that one more is going to be this X right here. We'll track the top of it. Did Restream just congratulate me? Received 100 messages today. Hey, that's cool. You people talk too much. Matos. A question for curiosity's sake. If we had no markers on the stick, would it still be trackable? Yep. You'll just have to manually place it. Like if there were no markers, you could typically see something. See here, I can kind of judge the motion based off of his body and the environment. And I would zoom out more actually, and I would observe the movement of the shot. I would even keep trackers closer to his hand, because sometimes you don't need perfect trackers. You just need the motion, and then you can manual the rest. Wait, did I just undo my point to show that? Why would I do that? Oh, here we go. No way. Did I just undo a tracker for that example? Yes, I did, but here it is. Wow, that was almost very stupid. That music is a little bit loud. Let's try to speed this up a little bit if we can. Again, shrink your target box. See how I'm not in the center of the stick? Nudging it over. Matos, I see. If I wasn't there, it would have been completely clean of markers. I even wanted to add more of them, and clearer ones, but had no tools to do so. A black pen was all I had. This is good. But you had a black pen? You could have juiced some more. You could have juiced some more X's. But yeah, some people like to put way too many markers, and then comp has a tough time painting them out. But this is being covered up by a pickaxe, so yeah, you could put 1,000 trackers, and the match move artist will love you. Oh, we getting there. It's getting close. Oh, my tracker was off center too. Gotta nudge it over. Oh, once this tracker's done, we can do a very fast, very fast trick to do a solve. And then I'm not gonna tweak that solve. We gotta add a couple more points. It will solve though, but I'm gonna add a couple more points, but I'll do that after a break. When I get to my break, it'll be 10 minutes because now I got my fancy new 10-minute timer. I want to show it off. Want all of you to stare at my timer for 10 minutes. Close. Okay. Few frames on the other side. This one's going to be slightly funny. Jamal, hello. Good to see you. We're tracking a staff. We're going to calculate this weird shaped object. What? Matos. Yeah, I could have done. Yeah. Walnut, is this similar / related trick to what you would do for a bow and arrow? No. Yeah, not really. You could use this for a bow and arrow, but not exactly the same. Oh, I think I'm gonna by hand this area. It's gonna turn off every single frame. There's a reason I'm not tracking other points on the staff right now as well. Normally my word of wisdom is if there's other points available, track those instead of going off screen all the time. But you'll see what I'm doing as for why I want this tracker to last the whole way. Oh, here comes that detail again. Oh man, few more frames and we're done. Then I can show my little trick. Okay, so I gotta center my point a little bit on some of these frames because I wasn't paying attention to the left and right. Close. Okay, we're fine. Okay, let's see. How do these trackers look? We have 2 points. Good. That's what we needed. So here comes my trick. Let me see the messages first. Jamal, nice shot and hard to match move. Yeah, this one's kind of it's a fun one. I like shots like this because it takes little odd tricks to make them work. The camera here, we did it very fast because it's not the focus. The focus is just the object. So the camera's just there to help with lighting. Okay. Now we have these 2 points. Here's the trick. Here is the trick. I'm going to duplicate and offset these. Offset and editable offset on. Matos, older Synthize, does not have editable offset, so if you don't have that button, you got to drag this little crosshair over here and manually drag it. Oh, my tracker direction's going the wrong way. Let me duplicate that one more time with new. Swap tracker direction forward. Now it's going forward. And now turn offset on. So you would have to drag this crosshair and make sure it sticks to the edge. But for me, I'm going to turn on E for editable offset. So these offset points are going to give me the scale of the staff. Also a little bit of rotation if I want it. So notice that I do have this tracker lower than the other because we're faking the parallax of the staff, because the staff is pointing backwards in space. So I'm kind of giving a little bit of a curve here to fake that depth. Perfect. So very fast, right? So I'm going to select this tracker, hit new, and make sure its tracking direction is forward, turn on offset. And same thing for the other side. And we're going to do this for the top tracker too. So now we got 3 points. Now let's go for the top one, do the same thing, and track direction is already forward. Awesome. So I'll just turn on offset. I don't know why the track that's playing right now just made me think of Metroid. I cannot wait for the new Metroid game. Metroid Dread. I cannot wait. All right, new tracker. Last one. Offset over here. Okay, so now that we have this, I could import the staff, or I could import the pickaxe. I could import this right now. I gotta give it some geometry. Hold on. Do I want to? No, let's not put it in right now. I'll put it in Maya. Just because of reasons. We got to do some scale stuff later. So these points here, I'm going to start myself with these. So I'm going to go pick a frame maybe like this. Actually, oh wait. Yeah, let's pick a frame like this. We have the full stick. Let's see how this goes. So I'm going to go into 3D now. We're under object 1 because we've been tracking in it. I'm going to go to F4. And here's our object. It's sitting at the center. It's sitting at the center of the world because there's no solve to go along with it right now. So I'm going to go make a cylinder. And this cylinder, when I click and drag it, yeah, we have a massive cylinder. When you let go, you're doing the scale. But I'm going to make it very small. And then click again, and now you're doing the height. Cool. So now, let's scale it down a little bit. Also, I'm going to make it 0 perfect in the diamond. So I'm going to come over to translate, right click all these translates. So it's perfectly centered in that diamond object. In fact, let's make the actual object the center of the geo. So I'm going to go hole. There we go. Turn hole off, and now we have our pivot right there. That's the diamond in Synthesize is the actual object itself being solved. Any geometry, you just have it inside the object. So let's go and rotate this roughly into place. I'm gonna man, I gotta hide. If I hide geo right now, it's gonna hide the staff. So I have to come into Window, Hierarchy View. And I'm going to hide any geo I don't want. So box, this, guys, and that thing all gone. So we're left with the staff. So I'm going to hit F3, close down hierarchy. I don't need it right now. Oh, that diamond's big. If this diamond, it's for display really in Synthesize. If it's too big, come to Edit, Scene Settings, Object Size. It's set to 40. Let's go shrink it way down and hit OK. So now that we have this, how do we orient this? I'm going to come to pinning, and we're going to wing it first. We're going to go create edit pins right here. I click that, and now when I click on this pole, we can move it around. And I'm going to click at the bottom. And wow, I kind of like the orient. This could tilt up a little bit. Let's put a pin right there. Clear that one. We're ignoring the length of this right now. So I'm going to look into 4. I hit 4 on my keyboard because I want to see what the staff actually is doing in space as I lengthen it. See, it's trying to match a perspective here. I'm imagining it has a little bit of tilt like this. I can see it at the top here. See when this line kind of matches this curve here? The more that I drag this out, see there it doesn't match so much. You drag it down, it starts to match up a bit more, somewhere in between. So there, it's starting to look better. So now that we have this position, what we're going to do is I'm going to scale the cylinder. Because I kind of like the perspective of it, but it's a little bit too thin. So I'm going to go scale and see we can do this, right? We're going to scale this and do the other one to match equally. Oh man, it's pretty close. And I'm going to copy this one over to this one again because we don't want to scale just one axis. Oh, it's so close. That diamond, I should have made that smaller. Let's go to Edit, Scene Settings, Object Size. Let's make it 1. There we go. That's pretty damn close. We're going to leave it here. Okay, so here's the second part of the trick. I'm going to take our 2 trackers. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take this whole rod, scale it up a bit, enough so that even my outsize trackers are in front because I'm going to take all of this and we're going to project it onto the mesh now. So if I look over here, when I come up to shot, drop on a mesh, see our points locked on. We're not actually treating the staff. We're not treating it as though we're tracking the surface. We're acting as though we track the center of the staff and the very contours of it. So what I'm going to do is hit F3, go orbit, and look around. And these trackers are very big, and it's hard to see right now. Whoa, I moved. There's my camera right there. My scene's a little crazy scale. I'm going to go solver, 2000. Let's drag that down. There we go. My world size is scaled down. So here's what we're going to do. This point, I want it at the center. So come to trackers, and we're going to use the nudge tool right here, the plus and minus. If you drag it, we're going to nudge it back to the center of the staff. Same with the bottom point. We're going to select that, nudge it back to the center. Looks pretty good. And the edge points, let's just select these two. And I want them to be in line with this, right at the contours. There we go. So that's what I tracked. I'm right here, select these two now. Gonna bring them in line. There we go. Okay, this point actually needs to go over out there a little bit. So you know what? I am going to place it right where it is already. Actually, these points should be nice and flat with this as well. So I'm going to manually bring these up and level them out to the main tracker. That's good enough. F3, I'm going to hit Control F to frame up to the top ones. Oh no, they're not even there. Ha, crap. Okay, Control F, there we go. So these points, I forgot I have to line them. I have to make sure they're in line with the main point. It's been a while since I've done this. Okay. Now. Now that I have this, let's see what happens if I solve. So the camera, I don't want to mess with the camera anymore. So I'm going to go to camera 1 and we're going to disable its solver. Camera and objects, they all solve together. But you can disable your camera because we want to keep what it is. My lens is set to known, so we're keeping that 24. And if you had distortion, turn off calculate so you don't recalculate with just the object. So come back to object and let's see what happens if I just hit go. So it's doing stuff, but it's not doing it correctly. Things feel a little off. See, this part of the cylinder should be sticking right there. So let's help synthesize out a little bit. Oh, you know what? These points down here, I should be lifting them up a little bit. Oh, well. So I'm going to try set my own frames, my own beginning frames. Let's try this and maybe something out here. I don't know if that's going to work, but whatever. So I hit go. Whoa, did it work? Oh crap, this first tracker disables itself. But it was working. Let's go unlock that, go the other way. Okay, and now solve. Okay, I think I fixed it. Okay, now, please work. Whoa. It's starting to work. Oh, okay. I gotta set this to solver so it just keeps playing. So the reason that I solve it like this, a lot of people will spend forever just tracking points like all over the staff and then tracking the hands, thinking that they can get a good rotational object solve, and then they end up doing it manually in other software. We do have to do a bit of manual work. This stick is also like a little oval. This staff is like an oval shape, I can tell. So you could see that it doesn't stick perfectly right here, but that's totally fine because the object coming in to replace it is a cylinder. We just got to make sure that we cover up the staff. Let's see. So what are we doing now? So the thing that I'm going to do now is take a break. Take a 10-minute break. And I have a nifty little timer now, right? Hold on, I'm not going to do it yet, but look at this timer I got. But, you know, in a second, I'm going to take this break. But you will see this timer so you know when exactly I'm going to be back. But for now, let's just take a quick, better look at this. I'm going to go 3D, divisions. Let's turn those divisions down a bit just for visual appeal. Turn them up this way. And let's color this thing something like blue, something very bright and very contrasted to the background. They're a lot easier to see. See, it looks pretty cool. It's working out. But the bottom here, you can see that the bottom, look at that slip there. So we gotta just track the bottom here next. And then track something at the tip to make sure that those far ends are locked up. But yeah, is this going well so far? Was this kind of understood by people before I take my break? I'm just curious if this makes sense. Matos, is this what you were hoping for? Again, I appreciate you giving the shot, Matos. This is a really cool shot. This video was given to me by Matos here in the chat. Needed some help on how to do this one, and it's hard. I can't just describe how to do this. So I was like, hey, cool. I have nothing going on today. Oh. What does it look like here? So see how it follows the camera? He's grabbing it as it sticks still in the thing. So we don't want it to move like this. That's another thing we're going to correct later. In 10 minutes. Matos, it does. I'm literally blown away. Awesome. This was being such a headache and stuff. Or this was, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, big headache. And I'm the one that's thankful for the help. Absolutely. Jamal, thumbs up. Got 3 thumbs. Okay, so I'm gonna finish. We're gonna refine the staff and make it a lot better in 10 minutes. So I'm gonna go walk around. I'm gonna go look out a window. I'm gonna find some flowers and smell them. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Anyway, you guys walk around or do something too. Get out of your chairs. Always do that in this industry. All right, I'll be back. Wow, this is some majestic music. Oh my goodness. Far too dramatic for the content of the stream. All right, we're coming back. Would you believe I took a lap around the seawall of Stanley Park? No, you wouldn't. And I wouldn't lie to you like that. Okay. We're finding this. So I'm just gonna add a couple more points right now. And we got some easy ones here. I think they're easy. Also, they don't last as long as the other ones, thankfully. Good. Walnut, we all knew you did the world's first 10-minute triathlon. The world's first? The world's first triathlon? I'm the world's first triathlete? Man, I do not have the physique of a triathlete. I have the body of someone who tried to be an athlete. "10-minute one at least." Oh wow. Okay. Let's see. What happens if I solve it just this one? I want to see. Yeah, it kind of figures. It's acting funny. I figured that was gonna happen. No worries. So with that, where does it solve? Okay, that's cool. That makes sense. So I don't want to... So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick the frame where I like the perspective of this staff the most. And now that I like the perspective here, so I'm going to make this tracker project there. I'm going to take this staff, and I'm going to translate it down. See, when I translate it, it moves it perfectly on axis. If you try to move the object separate from the diamond, then you kind of lose your world space and like orientations and stuff. So I'm gonna undo that. And yeah, so I like moving the diamond object. I put an object perfectly centered, zeroed out, nice and oriented within that object diamond, and then I move the diamond. Okay, so now that I have this geo to project on, I'm gonna go F4 and see, you can see where it's trying to solve. So we can now lock it down by projecting it and putting it into the staff as well. So I'm gonna go, I hit my hotkey, and if anybody forgot, track, drop onto mesh. That's how you project. So this point, I think it's tracking to the edge of the thing. Okay, yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna push this into the center of the staff because it's kind of happy on that edge. I kind of track the edge. So, solver, constraint on, still. When I solve, this should be nice and locked down. So I'm gonna hit go. Hey, look at that. Look how clean that is. Nice. And as a result, it also locked down the top of the staff a little bit too. If I look at this. See, look, the top half of the staff, it looks pretty nice as well. So the cool thing is that any other points that we add now is just going to help stabilize things more. So the top of the staff here could actually stabilize a little bit more. Why is my search box so massive? Oh my goodness. So as I track the end of this, you can see how jittery this still is. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the end, to the last frame, and I'm going to project this as well. So my hotkey, done. And Shift G, solve. So now let's look at the end. Looks pretty nice. Um, so once again, too, just a reminder, if anybody, it looks like there's one extra viewer or something, but we likely won't get this fit perfect. This staff is like, it's got a weird shape to it. It's not a cylinder. It's like an oval. So the staff here fits on some frames while it doesn't fit on others. You see that? The scale changes, even though we have a nice height and contour. Plus you can see the shadow. It's like it doesn't rotate like a cylinder. Unless it is. Maybe it is. I don't think it is. To me, it looks clearly like an oval. So the more important thing is that the oval covers up the physical thing. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to nudge this staff over a bit to cover this up, right? Because that would be annoying if a comp artist had to paint that out. So let's go offset. I'm going to trackers. With this selected, we're going to unlock it. Tracker direction is going backwards. I'm going to turn on offset and then editable offset. So here's what I can do. As I move this, I can hit solve right now. It's close. I can move it more. Hit solve. A little bit more. Solve. And as I go, if I feel it needs to move somewhere, I'll nudge it. Hit solve. Solve. You can live solve this as you go and just keep fitting it. That's the cool thing about using an offset for this trick. And that's gone. There is something popping here, but we will probably fix that in Maya. We're not going to do this whole perfection thing in Synthesize. I missed the message. Matos. It's more like an oval, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, so it's not going to be perfect with a cylinder because it's trying to calculate the contours of this thing through the whole... It's an impossible shape. So what we want is for the CG to cover the staff and be smooth. Doesn't matter if it's bigger. Something's popping it on the first frame. What is that? I'll have to fix that up in Maya. Okay, so I'm kind of at the point where we're going to refine the depth. We're going to scale this thing now. And the scales, I'll probably bring in the staff as well. We're probably going to dump the staff in here in a moment, because we want to see how it looks scaled to him. Also, I don't know what the I don't know what scale units they're using, like 0.01 scale or 0.1 scale. So we're gonna find that out shortly too. I didn't check that. So let's bring back my scene. I'm gonna go to Window, Hierarchy View, and re-enable all my stuff. Now we see a guy. Where's that guy standing again? I don't know. Oh, I made him standing to like back here. Okay. So our guy is standing here where the staff should be scaled to this. Because what, is he holding it up to his... Yeah, he's got it close to his hip. So I'm going to take the object, 3D, scale, turn a hole on, and now when I click and drag, we're scaling the object. But it's not taking the staff with it. So undo. Now you're going to right click, 3D, hole affects meshes. And now when you scale, magic. Wait, what? Why are the points moving like that? I have never seen that in my life. Is that a bug? Maybe you used the spinner. I've never seen that in my life. I always drag here. What's happening? Oh, wait. Oh, no. This has never happened. Why is the spinner fixing it? Like, I've done this on stream many times. I want to know what's causing this before I move on. I'm probably not going to figure it out. Oh, it's taking the pivot. What is causing that? Maybe a spinner. This always happens for me. Really? Matos, most likely a bug if the spinner works. Yeah, if that always happens to you, Walnut, that's unusual. I always scale viewport. This never happens. I never use this spinner. That's got it. If it's always happening to you, that's got to be a feature somewhere then. I don't know where to look to troubleshoot that right now. But that's very interesting. Okay, the spinner's annoying to use. I don't like it. So we're going to scale this back here. So there's a path here where we know that it should be pretty still. He grabs it here. Okay. So yeah, it's pretty still there. I'd like to lock this part down just before he touches it. So this path should be sitting still. I can scale it a bit and figure that out if it actually wants to, but the chances are we're not going to make the object sit perfectly still because our camera, we didn't do a perfect camera because there's so much going on here. So the camera is moving, causing the staff to move, which is totally fine. Walnut. I said it always happens to me, but it actually just happened to me twice in a row. And now I always use the spinner. So maybe there was a bug twice in a row on 2 shots. And then I never saw it work. Yeah, I've never had that before. That's super interesting. Okay, so now we've scaled our staff. So you'll notice the staff has a little bit of jitter. A little bit of jitter in depth. If we zoom in here, watch it here, there's some jitter we got to clean up. So to clean that up, and it's also there's jitter everywhere. It's just hard to see when it's in motion. So I'm going to go through solver, filtering control, distance, and I'm going to apply it once. So now when I play it, it looks a whole lot cleaner. And over here, it's much nicer. So now, sometimes you have to do this, sometimes you don't. But if you smooth your object in any way, something is damaged. Typically, it's the rotations that are damaged. So I'm going to go axis lock. I'm going to lock the distance. This is the measurement of the object to the camera per frame. So I'm going to turn that lock on first frame. Always turn locks and everything on first frame. So I'm going to lock the distance, get that measurement loaded in. So here, now you can see 44 centimeters from the camera. That's what this is. On every frame, it's got the measurement stored now, and we're locking to the smooth measurement. So I'm going to go type in 120 here because I wanted to listen to it like full. 120 is like 100%. So go. You can see that our object changed slightly. Since we smooth things, Synthesize kind of reworked its solve a little bit. Let's give it a watch over here. Cool. And you know what? Just for fun, let's go to the camera and add a matrix just to see what the camera space is doing. I always drag my matrix in and try to keep everything as square as possible. I like uniform squares in my scene. So now, let's give these a color like, I don't know, green. Let's hide this scale man. Let's hide the other scale boy. And give it a watch. Save. This looks pretty cool. Then I never saw it work. Walnut, why do you think the distance lock defaults to 60 rather than 0 or 120 like the rest? I think I know. Actually, let me full screen that while I do this. So, I have never had... So, the recommended weighting, even for position, is 60. If you hover over 0, it tells you 60 is nominal. It's recommended. Usually, when you smooth a camera, there's technically a little bit of jitter, but people tend to over smooth by the default settings. The filtering control has an average kind of a smooth between a crane movement and a handheld movement. So if you're caught in between of that, 60 is half weighting, because the weighting in synthesize, 0 means that weighting is just turned off. So it means that it's listen to your smooth thing 100%. But once you go from 0 to 1, 1 basically means there's almost no weighting. And then it goes up to 120%. So 1 equals nothing, 120 equals full weighting. 60 is half. So my guess is that it's kind of like keep half of your smooth, but introduce a little bit of the natural jitter that's in there. That's my guess. I don't know why the number is there for distance, but my thinking was distance is often the only lock that constantly screws with me. So I actually have to turn the weighting down for distancing quite often. I think Russ knows that because he put in half weighting by default, and that's the only option he did it for. So that's my guess. Atomic Troy, synthesize weighting is in decibels. Is it? I'll be honest, I don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I kind of want to read that now. Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if decibels was an audio thing. I was thinking that too. So now that we have this staff, let's drop in. Let's see if we can drop. I want to see what that pickaxe looks like in synthesize before we go into Maya. If I go 3D, import, wand. Oh, we got to go to the object. So again, nice thing about keeping the object nice in space is I can go import. I got to find this. Where do I have it? Where did I save? Okay, I found it. Let me organize my folder. Okay, do I want to strip the normals? Nah. So now that I've imported, oh, it's so small. Okay, the scale is going to have to be adjusted to an extreme level in Maya. Decibel, unit used to measure the intensity of sound or the power level of electricity signal by comparing it with the given level on a logarithmic scale. I want to look more into that. That sounds pretty kick-ass. So, the pickaxe is so small. I could scale it right now in synthesize, but I don't want to do that here. So you know what? I'm going to save this. We're going to toss this into Maya. So, let's do that. So I'm going to go over to File, Export. I'm going to use Maya ASCII. Walnut. Oops. What? Okay, I gotta launch Maya. So that's gonna take one moment to load. Should have had it loaded. I hit Control V again. Wait, what? Oh, I see. Yeah. Banned. Life ban. Come on, Maya. Load up a little faster. Blender's making you look old. Well, it's been making you look old for years now. Come on. It looks loaded, but it's not. Okay, I'm gonna import this. So space, file, import. And voila. Now the image plane can Maya play PNGs? It doesn't seem to want to. Wait, oh no, did my synthesize bump the frames up to 1001? No, it didn't. We're fine. Okay, so Maya just doesn't want to play a sequence of PNGs, I think. So I'm going to write out the sequence. Save sequence. Okay, Maya. Replace the PNG with JPEG. Please work. Oh no. Why don't you want to play? Oh, because I think I cached those false frames now. Okay, so I think I gotta reopen this Maya file. So I'm gonna reopen it, force it, and please tell me it plays. Why are you not playing? Oh. I think Maya doesn't like that the sequence is just numbers. Matos gave me this plate sequence with just a frame number and the format. It didn't have a name and extension. So I'm gonna give this name. That's I don't know, opie underscore, what is it? Shot underscore 002, was it? Underscore version 1 dot, and then it's gonna count into its frames. Matos, I can get you it in MP4 if you want. No MP4. Image sequences are the best. But I appreciate the offer. Okay, render that. All done. And now, one more time. Okay, so I got it named here. Let's see what Maya does. Yes, it worked. Okay. Yeah, no. Oh, man. All right, so we're going to hide this in the viewport because it never needs to be seen in the viewport, ever. I have never seen a single match move shot where it's beneficial to have it in the viewport. Okay, so let's get my outliner here. And so if I have to do anything here, Matos, I'm pretty sure this is easy to replicate in Blender. Like, extremely easy stuff to replicate in Blender. So, yeah. Let me import that. Let me import that magic stick. All right, where is it? It's so tiny. That is wildly tiny. So I'm going to take my scene and we're going to try a couple of scales. We're going to go with this scale by the looks of it. I'm going to go 0.01. Okay, so we made our scene very tiny. Wow, did I just call it skein? What a weird thing to call it. And let's split my viewport. Middle mouse our camera into here. And this doesn't feel right. So it doesn't look like this model has been scaled to any kind of industry standard. I assume that it might have been at a 0.1 scale or a 0.01 scale. But it looks like it has its own arbitrary scale that somebody gave it. Let's see. Matios. Watching this is making me want to go hard on studying match moving. So interesting. Dude, it's fun. It's satisfying. When you learn match move, when it comes to your own work, you're going to be unstoppable. Because it's always match move that prevents people from doing their own stuff. Typically. Okay, so, I'm going to go. I'm actually going to, hey, Matos. Typically, the industry standard scale to work with. Blender also, I think, is going to give you a different scale that it wants to work with, but typically, we work at the scale that I gave it. So 1. And yeah, so this is typically the scale. I scaled it to his height roughly. I guessed he was like 160 or something. And about the pickaxe model, it's from Fortnite themselves. I just did a texture work. Oh. That's why it's all triangulated. Cool. Nice. I don't remember seeing this pickaxe. What's the pickaxe called? Also, it kind of explains the weird pivot. By the way, this pivot, we got to move it. We got to move it center. So I'm going to go DV snap. There we go. And this side too. So I'm going to go DV. Sure, that's fine. Okay. The pickaxe is the champion's pickaxe. Only a few people in the world have it. It only has the Fortnite Championship winners. That's what makes it so special. Man, I gotta get there one day. I'm pretty decent at the game, but I'm nowhere near that good. That's what makes it so special. And this man in your screen just won 90,000 USD in the last... Oh my god, I kind of want to watch that match. You should send me a link to that sometime. I do like watching some of the super competitive videos. Okay, so this pickaxe then, if they're working off their own, like some Unreal Engine scale or something that they've been working with at their studio or at Epic Games or something, we're gonna scale it ourselves. He's insane. I want to see that. Watch it later. Okay, what was I doing? Oh yes, so I'm gonna drag this mesh under our object, and now I'm gonna zero out the translate and rotates here. Now it's lined up to our object. You can do that in Blender just the same way. Now I'm gonna scale up this pickaxe, and we're gonna be scaling this to the width of the pole, to the width of the staff, where it's largest on whatever frame. Let's give it a more attractive angle, and of course you can fix that angle later or do your own angle. So use background. I'm gonna use background because I need to see a wireframe that's occluded. If you need to see an occluded wireframe in Blender, when you do this in Blender, because you're going to want this, because the thing with wireframes is you don't want to see the back faces. Blender, you can come in, you can turn on X-ray here, and now you have a nice occluded version of the wireframe where any background or image plane is going to show nicely through this. You don't want to see those overlap. I can give you the albedo if you need. Could be better for final visualization. Not really, not too much. We don't, usually in Match Move, you don't deal with that. So I'm gonna bring the pommel down here. And maybe scale it up a little bit, and let's give it a little play here. Looking cool. I love it. It's so cool looking. And making it bigger obviously is recommended because, you know, you just roll it behind the fingers, and it's better to have it bigger than the staff than it is to have it shorter because, you know, paint work is a nightmare. Yeah, Blender is really good for wireframe view. Yeah, it does a pretty nice job. Let's hit this with actually, no, we're fine. Okay, so something you can't do in Blender, unfortunately. I really hope somebody makes a good plugin for this one day. I think I've seen people do it, but it's not very good from what I've seen. But we got to stabilize on the staff here. So I'm going to select a point somewhere. Okay, I found one. I'm going to duplicate it up to staff. I'm going to lock onto kind of around the hand. I have a locator there. In Blender, that's an empty. I'm going to come over to HK Tools, which is a script I downloaded, and we're going to switch the hotkey set over to this tool set. There we go. And I'm going to hit Shift-Alt-C. Now I'm stabilized in 3D here because we got to rotate this. We got to rotate this pickaxe now. So so this is where you would want to pick your favorite angle, Matos. So pick your favorite angle on your favorite frame when he's holding it now. So I'm going to key it. I'm keying the rotation. Now, that marker on here, I'm going to rotate. I'm going to rotate this object to keep that marker, to keep the wireframe lined up to this X. Take as much time as you need, obviously, to make this as perfect as you want. Even watch some of the hand motion if you really need to. Here you could see where I could have added some more trackers and pinned those areas more. Okay. So for the purposes of a stream, this isn't too bad. It's pretty quick. I do gotta say now, at this point, this is basically done in terms of a stream. So, shot like this, I would spend a lot more time and synthesize and scrutinize it, make sure little areas like, see that edge were under his finger? We could have made sure that we had a tracker close to his hand and pinned, dropped it on the mesh and locked down where his hands contact. But, you know, this is it. If you want to fix this manually, though, what you could do is we could move the pivot to that edge. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to lock the rotation so I don't have to look at them on my bottom bar. So I'm going to key it just up and down so that this edge lines up to the base of the hands. Oh wait, I did key all the translates. Whoops, let's go and delete all those wait, what? Oh wait, what? What happened? Oh, I didn't deselect it. Okay, sorry. So I'm going to lock back on to that one locator I duplicated. And now, keep it locked between the fingers. This is stuff, again, that could be avoided if you lock your trackers. It puts them more in certain areas. Oh. Getting there. Okay, so we've gotten the level of the staff to stick to the base of his hand decently well. And so here's the thing too, is that since we slid the model up and down, you also got to look at the end of his hand. So if I go duplicate a tracker, slide it down to the hand, and then we'll stabilize on that instead. We can watch the pommel here is going to start doing some, see it's sliding up and down now a little bit. So if we really wanted to get intense with this, I'm going to do something just for the sake of seeing this, but I'm going to go multi-cut. Put an edge right there. Oh, I didn't want to separate it. Oh, that's right. This thing is in modeling toolkit. Extract faces? Okay, cool. So you could put an edge there. And by the way, this model's a proxy. You could just toss your proper model parented under this. And then, you know, I put an edge there just so I could see. But now it is, now that edge is going to bounce a little bit. You could see it, wait, is my face cam in the way? Yeah, you can see it does a little bit of bouncing at the bottom. That shouldn't be there. So if you want to fix that, there's a couple ways. To me, the easiest way is, oh, okay. I'm going to take the mesh, group it, and now I can rotate this because that's a depth issue. So, oh, goody. The group was not accepted. Why did I screw it up? Oh, crap. I hit delete. Why is it moving like this now? What did I do? Or is it a stabilize bug? Okay, I don't know what caused that. Something was causing it to not display right. I think it was the HK tool stabilizer. It's not as good as the one that we use at work, so I'm going to swap over and not use that, not use HK tools. And stabilize. Okay, so this thing, what if I group it now? Is it still going to do weird stuff? That's weird. Okay, but that's not the stabilize issue that I had. Yeah, because it works now. I think stabilizer did cause something. So why would grouping this want to cause problems? I don't understand that. I don't know it well enough to troubleshoot it on stream, so I'm going to leave that. That's actually been happening at work recently. I've never seen it before. But anyway, even then, something like this, that's like a kind of a pixel effer thing, if you've heard of that term, that nobody would ever notice the pommel sliding underneath his hand there, because it looks pretty good. So you could just leave it there. But, yeah, that's kind of it, really. It looks pretty decent. I'm going to put a quick... let's put a really ugly looking blend. Turn off wireframe. There we go. Ugliest shading in the world. I will say here, that little movement at the start, this is the kind of case where we would take the animation just as he puts his hand on it. We would pick a frame and lock it off if he's not supposed to be touching it. This is where my camera is like, oh, it's the camera. The camera has the pop in it. I'm going to go F9. Take this, hit F. Little tiny better, but yeah, still could have spent more time on the camera. This is the kind of thing that we would see and then we would iterate. Let's do a standard backface culling. So I'm going to do a manual move here to return what was lost, but now we don't have the weird rotations. My camera also has a little depth issue, which is okay for now. Oh yeah, blenders. Oh, Mattos, that's already perfect. Awesome. Yeah, some people will look at little imperfections and think this thing is not perfect for what we're doing or something, but a lot of people, a lot of match movers tend not to do a lot of VFX, and a lot of VFX people tend not to do a lot of match move. So they don't know that what you can compromise and get away with and have it look fine. I don't really have anything else to offer on this. It's just like, if you really wanted to, you can put trackers, again, you can put trackers at the base of his hand and high weight that. Like every tracker, you can tell it to turn the weighting up. Like default is 1. You can turn this up to 10 and have your solve stick more in that area. So I would have turned the weighting up down here at the pommel. I'm calling that a pommel. I don't know if that's the same for a staff or like this, or a pickaxe. But yeah, you can put a point there by the hand, high weight it, put a point by the other hand or the base and high weight it so that those areas stick the most. And yeah, the camera could have spent more time on it. Like here you could see it's moving in space. I should have locked it down a bit more. But even then we know the camera is moving. So it wouldn't have been accurate if I locked it down. But we don't have the data to make it perfect. So all I would have done is that I would have looked over in the camera path here. And you could see there's the frame pop that we had. I would delete it here and I would maybe epipolar it or something. And no, not epipolar. Post-infinity or pre-infinity. Clean that up a little bit, and then solve with that. Because see, now that we removed that pop out of the camera, it shows itself in the object, which is normal. It makes sense. So, you know, I had to clean the camera here, and then I had to manually nudge the staff a little bit. And because I deleted the animation of the staff, and the staff had the movement, because the camera moved, you could see that, look at the points down here in my markers. They slide a little bit. Except the cool part is because of the nature of the shot, when the CG covers, it just looks like the camera was intentionally moving in. You kind of come out lucky with this case. But you don't have to leave it like that, obviously. You can put some more detail in there if you need to. Yeah. So that's all I got. That's all I got. If there's any questions, you know, yeah. If there's any questions, that's shoot. Thanks so much. Learned a lot. I hope it helps out. Yeah, I really hope it helped out. Oh man, I just splashed some tea all over my keyboard. Man, that turned out awesome. I want to see it in 3D space. Oh yeah, I didn't move my scene up. Forgot about that. By the way, over here in Synthesize, before I go, where's the scale? Where's the scale, dudes? Hierarchy view. Show these guys. I should have went whole, move. Oh, on the camera, I'll hit whole again. Should have moved the whole scene up to the floor. Or if you want the floor to be your guy, you can make it the stage as well. Up to you. But I should have did that. I should have did that. Because the floor over here is kind of funny. Yeah, all right. So if there's no lingering questions, I am going to stop here. Because this went longer than I thought. I thought I was going to do a third stream today, but it's kind of late. I don't want to do the third stream now. But tomorrow I'm going to do a photo scan environment for the other shot. I'm going to do a photo scan, project, and I'm going to track a chest, solve it, refine a head. Yeah. What time is it there? 11 p.m. here. Here it's only 7. I thought I was going to be done this stream at like, I don't know, 6 or something. But yeah, 7, I don't know. I kind of don't want to do the other stream because it's going to be a little bit longer and I don't want to go till midnight. Yeah. Ah, all right. No lingering questions. That is good. That's what I like to hear or see because everyone learned. They learned so much they don't even need to ask anything. They're masters now. Masters at their craft. Okay. So with that being said, oh, yeah, makes sense. No need to stream for 6 hours in one day. Yeah. Oh, now I gotta go play games. A friend of mine likes to watch me play Outer Wilds because he recommended Outer Wilds. So he asked me to stream it. So I stream it on a personal Twitch channel that I use for like stream testing and now like streaming this game so he can see some scenes. But now I gotta do that more later. I can't wait to play more Outer Wilds. It's so good. All right, I'm jumping out. And where's my end screen? Thank you for watching. You have all been lovely. Oh no, I got honey from my tea on my finger and I just went and touched my stream deck. Now it's disgusting. I gotta throw it out. Thank you for a great stream. That is high praise. Hope it works out, Matos. If you end up managing to do the shot, love to see it. I would also love to see the final render of the shot too. One day. All right. I'm chilling just for a moment, but dimming my mic.